Hello students. Today we are going to discuss one of the important topic of organic chemistry, organic conversions. This topic is important with respect to your board exams as well as your competitive exams like JEE. Organic convergence requires the whole summary of organic chemistry. It requires the applications of various reagents that you have studied. It requires the applications of various name reactions that you have studied, etc. So in today's video, we are going to discuss how to carry out organic convergence. Today we will be discussing the convergence of various functional group as well as the reverse one. I will begin with the very first one, ascent of series. It is also called as a stepping up reaction. Now suppose the reagent given to you contains 2 carbon atoms and the product requires 3 carbon atom. Then we have to increase the series, and that is called as ascent of series or a stepping up reaction. If the reagent given to you is propane and you are to convert into butane, that means you have to increase the number of carbon atom. So we can increase the number of carbon atoms in various ways. Suppose I want to increase only 1 carbon atom in the series, then I will make use of potassium cyanide. Remember, it is only the potassium cyanide which will be applicable and not the silver cyanide. By using potassium cyanide, 1 carbon atom can be increased. And remember, KCN will be applicable only when the halide is present, because the halides are the good living groups. The halide can be easily substituted by cyanide and it's a nucleophilic substitution reaction. On the other hand, if we want to increase 2 carbon atom at a time in the series, then we can make use of Wood's reaction. Again, Wood's reaction is applicable to haloalkanes. We can also use aldol condensation. Aldol condensation is applicable to aldehydes and ketones. But if I want to increase n number of carbon atom, then we can use Grignard reagent. Grignard reagent is represented as RMgX. Now R can contain many number of carbon atom as per our requirement. Now in this case, if the halogen is not present in the given reagent, then we have to introduce the halogen. Similarly, for carrying out Wood's reaction, we need halides, and if the given reagent is not halide, we can convert it into halide form. Now as we can increase the number of carbon atom, we can also decrease the number of carbon atom, and we call it as descent of series, or it's a stepping down reaction. If the reagent given to me contains 5 carbon atom and I want to convert it into 3 carbon atom product, then I will call it as a descent of series reaction. Let us see how we can carry out. We can carry out the descent of series, that is we can decrease the number of carbon atom by decarboxylation. For decarboxylation, we use the mixture of sodium hydroxide and calcium oxide, which is called as a soda lime. Also, we can carry out the Hoffman bromamide, and there is one more way of reducing the number of carbon atom in a given chain, that is ozonolysis. So decarboxylation will be applicable to carboxylic acids and its salts. Hoffman bromamide will be applicable to amides, and ozonolysis will be applicable to the compounds containing either double bond or triple bond. The third one is the creation of multiple bonds, that is either double bond or triple bond in the given alkane. For example, if I have ethane with me and I want to convert it into ethene, then first of all I will introduce chlorine. So I will get chloroethane, and this chloroethane can be substituted to alcoholic KOH. Now remember dear students, alcoholic KOH can be written directly as alcoholic KOH or KOH oblique glycol, or even I can write KOH oblique C2H5OH. So don't get confused in all these, they means one and the same thing. So when we substitute the given haloalkane to alcoholic KOH, there is beta elimination process. We also call it as dehydrohalogenation. And as a result, we get alkene. Remember this fact that alcoholic KOH will always undergo substitution reaction, elimination reaction. On the other hand, if we use a dilute KOH, it will be substitution reaction and the product will be alcohol. So there is a difference between these two. Now if I want to continue and convert this ethene to ethine, then again I can add either chlorine, or let's say this time we'll add bromine. And again we can use alcoholic KOH, but we can go for a stronger base like sodamide. So NaNH2, 2 moles of NaNH2 can be used and it will be converted to ethine. So suppose you want to create the double bond or triple bond in a given chain, a given alkane, then first of all substitute the halogen and then make use of alcoholic KOH. If you want to convert it to alkyne, then use a sodamide. The next conversion is the conversion of alcohol to aldehydic group and aldehydic group to carboxylic group. Now we know that alcohol gets converted to aldehyde. It's an oxidation process, and the conversion of aldehyde to acid is again also oxidation process. But now remember, the conversion of alcohol to aldehyde, it's a partial oxidation. And therefore we need to use mild oxidizing agent. Now which are the mild oxidizing agent? These are like pyridinium chlorochromate, we call it as PCC. Even we can use copper at 573 Kelvin. Even only the chromic acid CrO3, that is also a mild oxidizing agent. But if you want to convert aldehyde to acid, now remember it's a complete oxidation and here we require the use of strong oxidizing agent. Now which are the strong oxidizing agents? These are like alkaline KMnO4. It can be either acidified potassium dichromate. We can also use the Jones reagent CrO3 oblique concentrated H2SO4 called as Jones reagent. Even we can use Felling's test, that is the oxidation using Felling solution A and Felling solution B, or Tollens test. In both these tests, the aldehydic group is converted to carboxylate ion and carboxylate ion can be further converted to carboxylic acid. But I will say Felling's test and Tollens test, or these reagents are comparatively mild oxidizing agents. Now in this conversion you have to remember one thing, that whenever we are using alkaline potassium permanganate or acidified potassium dichromate, first of all we get the potassium salt of carboxylic acid and that needs to be further hydrolyzed so that we can get carboxylic acid. So whenever you are writing oxidation, the first step will be use of alkaline potassium permanganate and the second step will be hydrolysis. Okay, so we have seen the conversion of alcohol to aldehyde, aldehyde to carboxylic acid. But we must know the reverse conversion also, like how to convert carboxylic acid to aldehyde and aldehyde to alcohol. Now, since the conversion of alcohol to aldehyde and aldehyde to acid, these are oxidation reactions. The reverse conversions, that acid to aldehyde, it will be reduction. As obviously, aldehyde to alcohol, that is also a reduction one. Now, the choice of reducing agent. When we are converting acid to aldehyde, we can use lithium aluminum hydride, or even we can use diborane. Suppose we want to convert aldehyde to alcohol, then again we can use lithium aluminum hydride. Now the important factor that you have to remember during this conversion is that if the alcohol given to us is 1 degree alcohol or primary alcohol, on oxidation it will give aldehyde. On the other hand, if we have 2 degree alcohol with us, then on oxidation by using either, let's say, alkaline potassium permanganate, followed, or we can say John's reagent, it will give ketone. Now let us see how to convert alcoholic group to amine group. Now suppose I have alcoholic group in the given reagent. So first of all I will convert it into chloride by using, let's say, thionyl chloride, or we can use PCl3 or PCl5. That is, by any means you can introduce the halide and then it will be subjected to ammonolysis. And we will get the corresponding amine as the product. Now let us see how to do the reverse one. How to convert amine to alcohol. You must know the forward as well as the backward conversion. Okay, suppose the 1 degree aromatic, 1 degree aliphatic amine is available with me. Then we can use NaONO2 plus HCl at 0 degrees Celsius to 5 degrees Celsius, followed by hydrolysis, will get alcohol. On the other hand, if aromatic amine is there like aniline, then also the same thing. First of all, it is converted to BDC, that is benzene diazonium chloride. Remember, this reaction takes place at 0 degrees Celsius to 5 degrees Celsius, and then we'll get corresponding alcohol, that is the phenol. Let us consider the next conversion. Amide, we want to convert it into amine. As it is a amide and we want to convert into amine, that means we want to reduce the number of carbon atom. At the starting of the video I have told you that it will be a descent of series reaction and we can apply Hofmann bromamide degradation. So amide can be subjected to Hofmann bromamide degradation by use of chloroform and potassium hydroxide, and it will be converted to corresponding 1 degree amine. But if we want to do the reverse one, like we want to convert the amine group to amide, then the process is little bit typical. Amine group first of all will convert it into alcohol. Don't forget to write the temperature condition, 0 degrees Celsius to 5 degrees Celsius, followed by hydrolysis. We can write H plus or we can write HOH also. Then it will be converted to alcoholic group. Now this alcoholic group can be converted to corresponding chloride by use of either thionyl chloride or PCl3 or PCl5. Now cyanide can be introduced as we want to increase the number of carbon atom, and that also only one carbon atom. At the starting of the video I have told you that cyanides can be introduced only when halogen is available, and therefore halogen can be introduced by some means. Okay, so after introducing cyanide, we'll get nitrile as the product. Its hydrolysis will give corresponding carboxylic acid, and that corresponding carboxylic acid on treatment with ammonia will give amide. So this is how we must know the conversions, how to move ahead or how to come back. Let us discuss how to convert the given nitro group to amine group. It's a very simple one. As it indicates clearly, it can be done by the reduction process. So we can use iron plus HCl as reducing agent, or we can use tin plus HCl. We can use other reducing agent like hydrogen in presence of either palladium, platinum or nickel, or even we can use lithium aluminum hydride. Although lithium aluminum hydride will be the strong reducing agent and straightforward it will be converted to amine. But if I want to convert amine to nitro, then I have to apply the number of series. For example, the given amine will be first treated with nitrous acid at 0 degrees Celsius to 5 degrees Celsius, followed by hydrolysis we get alcohol. Now this is one of the common method if you want to convert amine to any other product by removing ammonia. So you convert it into alcohol and then convert it into halide. Halide will are good leaving groups, and the halides can be easily substituted by the other nucleophiles. For example, in this case we can use AgNO2 and we'll get corresponding nitro compound. The next conversion we have already discussed many a times, the conversion of amine to chloride or the conversion of fluoride to amine. These both steps we have already discussed. The next conversion is very interesting one. The conversion of carboxylic acid to its derivative. Suppose a given carboxylic acid I want to convert to ester. Then obviously I will treat the given carboxylic acid with alcohol. Suppose I want to convert it into amide. So the carboxylic acid can be treated with ammonia. If I want to convert the carboxylic acid to acyl chloride, then I will use the reagent like PCl3 or PCl5 or thionyl chloride, etc. And suppose I want to convert it into anhydride, then we carry out a dehydration reaction. Now the dehydration reaction can be carried out by using dehydrating agent like phosphorus pentoxide. Now the interesting thing is that whenever we carry out the hydrolysis of whether ester, amide, acyl chloride or acetic anhydride, all these will give us acid back. Now I will tell you a very simple trick to remember the hydrolysis product of acid derivatives. For example, I want to find out the hydrolysis product of, let's say, ester. So remember the always cleavage will be between this carboxyl group, and OH group will go with RCO and hydrogen group will go with other side. So we get carboxylic acid and alcohol. So these will be the hydrolysis product of ester. Now similarly, suppose I want to find out the hydrolysis product of amide. Remember the cleavage. Hydrolysis means what? We are adding H2O. So H2O can be written as OH and H. So what will be the products of hydrolysis? Carboxylic acid and ammonia. So it's very easy to remember. Now let's say I want to find out the hydrolysis product of acyl chloride. Again remember the cleavage. Out of H2O, OH will go with the carbonyl group and hydrogen goes to other part. So the product of hydrolysis of acyl chloride will be carboxylic acid and along with HCl. Now suppose acetic anhydride is cleaved, then we'll get 2 moles of carboxylic acid. So it's very easy to remember the carboxylic acid, their conversion to the derivatives, and the hydrolysis of carboxylic acid derivatives again back to carboxylic acid along with their products. Now we are well aware with the fact that if you want to increase the number of carbon atom, one carbon atom especially, we can introduce cyanide, and the cyanide can be introduced by nucleophilic substitution reaction of halides. Why this reaction is important? Because the cyanides can be further converted either to carboxylic acid or to amide or to aldehyde or to 1 degree amine. So, by replacing or carrying out the nucleophilic substitution reaction of haloalkane with cyanide, we can have multiple products. Now, what are the reagents required for this? Cyanide can be converted to carboxylic acid by complete hydrolysis. Complete hydrolysis can be indicated by 3 molecules of water. It can be converted to amide by partial hydrolysis. So partial hydrolysis is indicated by 2 molecules of water. Now don't forget this, because in the complete equation type of question, sometimes 3H2O and 2H2O is mentioned. 3H2O indicates complete hydrolysis and 2H2O indicates partial hydrolysis. Now we can convert it to aldehyde by partial reduction. And partial reduction can be carried out by using tin and HCl. It's a famous name reaction called as a Stephan reaction. We can convert the cyanide to 1 degree amine by complete reduction. Now the complete reduction can be carried out by using reagent like lithium aluminum hydride, and it is a name reaction called as Mandius reaction. So in Mandius reaction, we are converting cyanide to 1 degree amine. Moving on to the next one. Although there are many nucleophilic reactions of halides, but here I want to draw your attention to some particular points. Suppose halide, especially like chloride or bromide, they are treated with any alkene, then it will result in the formation of vicinal dihalide. And this halide, they are introduced or they are made to react with alkene in presence of non-polar solvent like carbon tetrachloride. If halogen is treated with any olefin or any alkene or any alkyne in presence of, let's say, H nu or UV, or let's say heat, or at 773 Kelvin, then the halogen is added next to doubly bonded carbon atom. Now this point is important one. Suppose the halide is treated with, let's say, benzene in presence of anhydrous aluminum chloride. Then the reaction is called as halogenation, and it results in the formation of haloarene, either chlorobenzene or bromobenzene. So there are total 3 different conditions of reactions of halide with hydrocarbons. We can increase the number of carbon atom to multiple times by use of Grignard reagent. So there are many reactions of Grignard reagent which are important one. Let us discuss them one by one. Grignard reagent, if I want to convert it to directly alkane, I will make the Grignard reagent to react with water. Suppose I want to convert it into alkane containing one more number of carbon atom, Grignard reagent can be treated with alcohol. Grignard reagent, when it is treated with aldehyde like methanol and followed by hydrolysis, it will give us 1 degree alcohol with 1 carbon atom or whatever number of carbon atom more. Suppose Grignard reagent is treated with aldehyde other than methanol followed by hydrolysis, then it gives 2 degree alcohol. Now these two conditions are important one. Suppose I want 1 degree alcohol starting from methanol, then I'll use Grignard reagent, and by use of Grignard reagent If we want 2-degree alcohol, we will use aldehyde other than the methanol. Similarly, if we use ketone followed by hydrolysis, we get 3-degree alcohol. Suppose Grignard reagent is treated with hydrogen cyanide followed by hydrolysis. In that case also it will give aldehyde. But on the other hand, Grignard reagent, if is treated with nitrile other than hydrogen cyanide followed by hydrolysis, it will give us ketone. And Grignard reagent can be converted to carboxylic acid also by use of carbon dioxide followed by hydrolysis. So, by use of Grignard reagent, we can get alcohol, we can get the carbonyl compound like aldehyde and ketone, as well as we can convert it into carboxylic acid with more number of carbon atom. As we can convert Grignard reagents to various products, similarly 1-degree aromatic amine like aniline can be converted to variety of products by converting it into BDC, that is benzene diazonium chloride. Aniline, when it is treated with HNO2 at 0 degrees Celsius to 5 degrees Celsius, gets converted to BDC. HNO2 is mixture of NaNO2 and HCl. Now BDC can be converted to various products, like I can convert it into, let's say, chlorobenzene by use of metallic copper and hydrogen chloride. I can use BDC to convert it into haloarenes such as chlorobenzene again by use of cuprous halide. Now these two are the different name reactions. It is the Gattermann reaction and the second is the Sandmeyer reaction. I can convert BDC to fluorobenzene also by using HbF4 followed by heat. BDC is first of all treated with hydroborofluoric acid and then it is heated. It is the only method by which we can introduce fluorine in the benzene ring. Okay, we can also convert it into iodobenzene by use of potassium iodide or by warming with potassium iodide solution. So, by using BDC, we can convert the aniline into either chlorobenzene, bromobenzene, iodobenzene or fluorobenzene. As well as it can be directly converted to benzene by use of phosphoric acid like H3PO2 or even by the use of ethanol. BDC, when it is treated with ethanol, it gives benzene. Now benzene can be further substituted to many electrophilic substitution reaction. Now these two are important one, as especially in the second one most of the time the student write phenol as the product, which is the wrong one. Phenol is obtained from BDC when BDC is warmed with water. Remember the difference between these two. BDC when treated with ethanol will give benzene, whereas on warming with water it will give ethanol. It will give phenol. Similarly, BDC when it is treated with aniline, it gives a dye and we call it as a coupling reaction. This is yellow dye. On the other hand, if BDC is treated with phenol, we will get orange dye. So this flowchart will help you to understand the conversion of 1-degree aromatic amine like aniline to variety of the products. Let us discuss the last conversion, the conversion of phenol to compounds like salicylic acid or salicyl aldehyde. Phenol can be converted to its ortho derivative by use of different reagent. Phenol, when treated with sodium hydroxide followed by carbon dioxide and followed by hydrolysis, will give us salicylic acid. It is a name reaction called as Kolbe's reaction. Suppose we want to convert it into aldehyde, then phenol is treated with chloroform followed by potassium hydroxide and hydrolysis. So we'll get salicyl aldehyde. It's a reaction known as Rimmer-Timmer reaction. So in today's video, we have gone through lots of tricks to either increase the number of carbon atom or to decrease the number of carbon atom or to convert a given functional group to another functional group, and we have also seen how we can bring it back to the original functional group. All these tricks will help you in carrying out the organic conversions in your board exams as well as in your competitive exams. That's all for the day. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.